Hello and welcome back to my channel. This video is completely impromptu. I was tagged over the weekend or last week by Emma Bennett author to do the old school April challenge, so that's what I'm doing. So thank you very much for tagging me, Emma, and let's take a trip down memory lane as I revisit some of the memories from my childhood. So this could be scary, it could be great, so you'll know me a little bit better by the end of this video, hopefully. So my first prompt is Reading Rainbow, and the first question is, what book, author or series got me into reading? Well, first of all, I enjoyed two series by Enid Blyton, The Famous Five and The Secret Seven. And I got into them mostly because they both had dogs in. So The Secret Seven had Scamper and The Famous Five had Timmy. I did kind of also enjoy the idea of being one of the gang who solved crimes and got to go on little mini adventures and things like that, and particularly with the Famous Five, because they got to go to places like Kirin Island and, you know, solve mysteries with smugglers in, and I found that so exciting. But as I grew up and as I got older, some of my favourite series were The Littlest Vampire, and for the life of me I cannot remember who that's by, but The Littlest Vampire was a favourite of mine. And then I moved on to Point Horror, and they were written by, it was a series of books written by all kinds of different authors, like R.L. Stein and people like that, who also did Goosebumps. But I never really got into Goosebumps, I'll be honest with you. I've always found those a little bit, I don't know, a little bit too childish for me. But anyway, it's personal choice. And then as I got older still, I progressed on to Christopher Pike, and some of my favourite books of his were Chain Letter 2, and the Last Vampire series. So they were my favourites growing up. The next question is, what author or book got you into your current writing genre? Well, that was easy, and I've made no secret of the fact that Christopher Paolini's Eragon certainly got me into it as a teenager, got me into the idea of writing. I particularly like the idea that he was only 15 when he wrote Eragon, and I was really impressed with that. So I had big, grandiose dreams of doing the same, but obviously that never panned out, not that young anyway. But also for fantasy, particularly in more recent times, I like Giles Christian books, who does Viking books and King Arthur type books, so you can obviously see that's a big inspiration for my writing. But from a romance side, of my author career, I particularly enjoy Kirsty Greenwood and Heidi Swain romances. Heidi Swain writes kind of like cosy romances that sort of feature close-knit communities, which is very much a heart of my stories. But also Kirsty Greenwood writes flawed characters, which obviously we all love a bit of a flawed character who can go on a journey through the course of a book, and she writes those sort of characters that I kind of identify with, so I enjoy her book. And incidentally, I will be meeting her in June as I go to a writing conference type thing, and she's going to be one of the speakers there, so I am hoping that I will be able to meet her and get her latest book, which is out also in June. I'm going to hopefully get that signed, so I'm very excited about that one. So the next section on the list is mixtape. And the next question is, what was the first concert I ever went to? Well, it wasn't really, I don't think it was really a concert. It was kind of like, if you grew up in the 90s, you know about a kind of magazine called Smash Hits. And I think it was kind of like a Smash Hits type concert where loads of different people came. And one of my favourite bands at the time was a group called Five. I don't know if anyone remembers them. Please, if you do remember them, please let me know in the comments. But they came and they did a couple of songs, and me and my friend went, and it was amazing. I loved that. I didn't get to meet them or anything, but we did get in the front row, so I was very excited about that. And the next question number 4. What band or artist do you love but never got to see live? Well, one of the big ones for me, growing up I was a huge Boyzone fan, and it was always a dream to see them as a 5-piece. But unfortunately, Stephen Gately passed away before I ever got to see them as a complete group. I have seen them since as a foursome, and it was awesome. But I would love to have seen them with Stephen Gailey as well, because he was one of my favourite singers in the band. So yeah, that was a shame. But also, and they're still going. They're doing like there's another group called The Cause, which I'm a huge fan of. They're doing like a revival tour, but they're not doing it near me. They're not going to London or anything like that, so it's not really accessible. So at the moment, I would really love to see The Cause in concert, but that's not possible at the minute. And Westlife as well. I love Westlife. I like the Irish bands growing up. So I don't know. There's something to that. I think. So the next section is called "I Always Feel Like Somebody's Watching Me." That sounds a bit sinister, actually. But anyway, question 5. What was your favourite cartoon growing up? That's easy. Gummy Bears was absolutely my favourite cartoon growing up, and they've done it on. They've got the whole series now on Disney Plus, and I watched a few episodes of that when I got Disney Plus, so that was quite exciting. Very nostalgic. And I really loved. There was one gummy bear called Gruffy, who I was obsessed with, and I had a little cuddly toy of his when growing up as well. I don't have him anymore, unfortunately, but yeah, he was always my favourite. He was the grumpy one. So I also really enjoyed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles growing up as well. And my favourite in that was Leonardo, the blue one. If you know what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments. And if you do have a favourite gummy bear or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, please tell me in the comments, so I know that I'm not alone and there are people out there who remember these things too. The next one is, name a TV show or movie that is tied to a good memory. Friends. Absolutely, Friends. When that first came on TV, it was amazing. I loved it, fell in love with it. And it was at the time when you had to, I think it was on a Friday night, and you had to wait until the next Friday to see the next episode. So that was quite exciting. But I would watch it with my mum of a Friday evening before doing like university homework type stuff. And then the following day, I would talk to my best friend who, we didn't live near each other because obviously we met through university, so she lived elsewhere. But we would talk about it and dissect it and just go over everything about it. So I really, really love Friends. So yeah, and that's something now, even now, I kind of dip into every now and then. Number 7. Name a movie from childhood that you still love today. Fox and the Hound. I love Fox and the Hound. That scene where the old lady leaves Todd in the woods makes me bawl my heart out, even now. And yeah, but I still love it. I still love the whole thing, the whole friendship between Todd and Copper. Just love it. Also, The Lost Boys is a favourite with Kiefer Sutherland, and Die Hard with Alan Rickman, like the greatest actor of all time, in my opinion. So they are definitely 3 of my top movies that still stick with me from my childhood. Name your first TV or movie crush. Well, that was Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek as Pacey. I didn't get the fuss about Dawson, I'll be honest with you. Like, all my friends were like, Dawson, oh my god, James Van Der Beek. But I was like, no, Pacey's the one for me. So yeah, and even now, you know, when I see him, I still remember him as Pacey, and I have a kind of like an affectionate soft spot for him now. So yeah, good memories, good times. So the next section is gotta catch 'em all. So question 9 is, what was a toy you were obsessed with or collected as a kid? Tamagotchi. I don't know if anyone had a Tamagotchi, but I had it's like a little egg-shaped kind of like toy that was like a computerized kind of thing. And you had like 3 buttons, and it was like you had this little egg that kind of hatched into this little chick type thing. I called mine Murphy, by the way. And because of at the time it was such a big thing, our school put out a notice that you weren't allowed to bring Tamagotchis to school. But I smuggled mine in because otherwise you'd leave him for a day and they'd die. So I didn't want that happening. So I used to put my little Tamagotchi into the inside pocket of my blazer and excuse myself to go to the toilet or whatever, and periodically just sort of like make sure he was okay, make sure he was being fed, and you know, his toilet was being cleaned up and things like that. It was so weird, but so fun at the same time. I loved it. But anyway, yeah. And the fact that I named him as well, I still remember his name. And yeah, oh, Murphy. Oh, good times, good memories. So the next section is called Pac-Man Fever. And question 10 is, name a board game or video game you associate with your childhood. This was a tough one because I was thinking, oh, Monopoly, but I didn't really play that loads and loads. I really remember that because I tried cheating a few times as the banker, and you know, we got into arguments with my brother and things like that. So, but yeah, but the one I do remember and the one I do have fond memories of is a game called Atmosphere, and it was basically like a DVD interactive board game where you would play the game, but then periodically this kind of like zombie or werewolf, depending on what game you were playing in the series, would come on and they'd scare you and make like, it was really like, it's really hard to explain, but yeah, it was really good fun, and it was sort of like had horror elements to it, which I really enjoyed, and yeah, it was really good. And I do remember one time they came on with all this like lightning and thunder, and I jumped up and ran out the room screaming. Oh, it was brilliant. But yeah, well, they don't make those anymore, I don't think so. But yeah, if you can look it up and see what it is, you should, because it's brilliant. Okay, couple more sections left, so we're on the home straight. So the next section is She's Got the Look, and this is going to be the embarrassing section for me, I'm afraid. So question 11 said, name a clothing or trend that was popular when you were a kid. Shell suits. And I am shell suits and tracksuits, and I am embarrassed to say that I owned, although I didn't own the whole shell suit. Well, I might have done, but I never wore it at the same time. So I'd wear the shell suit jacket with, say, jeans or something, but I wouldn't wear the whole outfit. You know what I mean? Because that was a bit dodgy. But yeah, I did own a shell suit. I can't for the life of me remember which colour. That's probably a good thing. And tracksuits. I owned a lot of Kappa tracksuit bottoms as a child, as a teenager as well. So yeah, it was a thing. Let's just say that. Let's draw a line under it. Also, there was a kind of a fashion trend that is not. It's not good now, but it was double denim, and at the time, you kind of thought you were really trendy if you wore double denim because it was made famous by a band called Bewitched, who was another Irish band, by the way. Who had two members in it who were twin sisters to members in Boyzone, which is why I liked them. So, but yeah, they made some good music. They made some good music as well. But they used to promote double denim and wear it. So I thought I was really cool and, you know, one of the girls and all this kind of thing. So yeah. But like I say, embarrassing and enough said about the clothing choices I used to make. And the last section is a section called I Want Candy. So name a childhood snack or candy you wish was still made. This was easy because I have very fond memories of these chocolates. Of course, it had to be chocolates, didn't it? There was you buy them in a packet, and they were called vice versas, and they were basically sugar coated chocolate with either a dark, like a milk chocolate coating, sugar coating, or a white sugar coating, and inside, depending on what shell they had, what colour shell they had either milk chocolate or white chocolate. So if you had the dark outside, you'd have the white inside chocolate, and if you had the white outside shell, you'd have the dark chocolate inside. Oh, they were amazing. I loved them, and I would smuggle them into my exams in my blazer pocket when I was doing my GCSEs. And occasionally, when I knew there was no moderators or teachers roaming, I would sort of sneak one, and it got me through my GCSEs. So very fond memories. I tried looking them up the other day, but I can't find them. I also remember, actually, I've just remembered this. This isn't on my notes, but I just remembered there was a type of crisp, and Puffs crisps, I think they were called, and they were literally tiny little chip-shaped crisps, but they were puffed up and they had air inside. They were amazing, and they lasted forever. If you just ate them one at a time, which I did, they would last forever. And a lot of my friends had eaten their crisps, and I was still, you know, going on mine. I liked the beef flavour and the ready salted flavour, I think. So yeah, yeah, there you go. So that is all the questions wrapped up. That was a lovely trip down memory lane for me. I quite enjoyed that. I hope you did too. Thank you once again, Emma Bennett, for nominating me and for tagging me. I'm going to tag a few people now so that we can hopefully carry on this trend for the last few days of April. So I am tagging Ben Pick at Running to Write because I'm just interested in these people. They're kind of like in the community that I've just joined, and I'd like to get to know them a little bit more. So Ben Pick at Running to Write. My second nomination is Adrian Santiago at Books by Adrian. And the last tag that I'm doing is Amber Campbell at Amber Campbell Books. And I will leave all of these tags down below. So if you want to go and check their channels out, please feel free, because they're worth it. They're great. They do great videos, and they're really interesting people. So go check those out. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this and want to see more. Hit the notifications button, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. See you later. Bye.